Hello, I'm Karen Gibbs, Creative Director of Batiks by Northcott, and you are in Karen Gibbs for the Love of Batiks group. And live today, we usually run the live on Thursdays at 1 o'clock unless something happens. I wanted to ask you guys, have you gotten distracted with your garden centers lately? Have you been outside? Have you been planting? I need to leave my purse at the door, I swear, with those places. But the inspiration of color, I like to frequent them during the summer because it's just such a saturation of color, and different color combinations that you see in Mother Nature, I think, help out a lot and make you start to venture into certain things. We always have rules, right? As far as color goes, oh, this color doesn't work really well. You got to be careful of this. How about that rule about yellow? How about that? Oh, yellow takes over a quilt. No, I would put yellow in every quilt if I could. Yellow doesn't take over, and there's a lot of different colors of yellow, right? So when you're looking at your batiks and what inspires you, what do you gravitate towards? We're going to be talking about doing the next step, or the next little mini challenge in our Batik Challenge today. Last time, a couple of weeks ago, I think, we did a project, pull a project. What project? Shout it out to me. Tell me what you like. What kind of project would you think about doing? Even if you were looking at it and going, oh, this Baltimore album quilt is gorgeous, but I'm sure not going to get to it. That's okay. It inspires you. Something about it you like. And maybe you want to see it in Batiks, right? So that was our project challenge, and I saw some interesting projects and things that you guys are working on or just have done that you posted. Keep posting those. Keep putting them up there, because sometimes some of you are driven by, I see this project and I want to make it, now I'm going to find the fabric. Okay, and then others are, I have this wonderful stash of fabric, I walked around the quilt store and this is what I got, now I got to find a project to go with it. Okay, so there's different ways of doing it. And what type of quilter are you, or what do you like to do? All I'm asking for is for you with this challenge to not grab a kit and make it. Not for this challenge. We're trying to figure out how we can alter color a little bit, or challenge you to pull colors from your stash, okay? Or your stash could be your local quilt shop for all I know. I don't know. Okay. We also featured this week a couple sneak peeks, actually, 2 different collections that we're releasing right now. Now, when I say releasing right now, that means the sales reps for Northcott, Batiks, have it in their suitcases and are running around showing your local quilt shop all of these different collections, and they'll be in stores late fall, early winter until early spring. Okay, so you're not going to get to see them in your local quilt shop until then, and that's only if you ask for it. Maybe your local quilt shop is overwhelmed with the amount of choices they have, and they need to know from you what they should bring in and what you're inspired by. Okay, so we featured ink blots, and that was one, and I kind of want to talk about it because it's a technique in batik, right? It's something different. How the heck did I get that color on there with the gray, right? It's kind of different. It's quite interesting as far as the multi goes, and then we've got some with the blues and some with the blue purple. Okay, a lot of different colorations, and you can see bigger colorations that we're actually covering up the printer with over here. But these are quite an interesting different technique that we played with. Okay, now when we put them on the header, we're looking at them, and if you put them on the header all together, okay, then all together it's too much. You can't see the difference of them. So we put them on the header with the shadows in between, which gives your eye a place to rest. Just like when you're doing a project, it gives your eye a place to rest, okay? Kind of like something a little bit calmer. So when we're putting together a collection like Decode This, which is also here, that's what we're thinking of. We're thinking of how would you as a quilter use this in a project, okay? Do I have light, medium, dark? Do I have geometric? Do I have floral? Do I have more of a tone on tone? All of that kind of thing. Do I have contrasting color too, right? Things that pop like the rust color with the turquoise is just so fantastic together, right? These two together are just wonderful. Okay, we've got a little bit of the rust and we got a little bit of the brown in there, right? And it just makes it nice and dark and rich, all right? And then what if we popped it a little here? You can pop it with maybe the purple. Now, how would you use this stripe? I like, Scott Flanagan used this in the star points actually, which was really kind of cool, as opposed to relegating it to maybe just a border. But it adds a little bit of movement and texture and controls where your eye looks in the particular project. Now, Decode this inspiration. We're all in front of a computer a lot these days. We're coming out of it, right? That's why I'm encouraging you. You can get to a garden center or even online, look at all of the things that are just blooming right now. Do it, because we're looking so much at like the screens and the decoding or all of that kind of codes and circuits, that feel. And that's what this collection is. But what it's doing, what we did with it is colored it so it just had dark, strong, rich colors in there. Okay, and you can see here the dark, strong. Look at that brown. Isn't that amazing? And this is kind of a different technique in batik too, isn't it? Okay, it's quite different than, say, just a shadow. I say just a shadow. A shadow is the normal watercolor technique. This has a little bit of texture in there, right? So look at your batiks. What ones do you like? Do you like the high contrast ones? Do you like the tone on tone? When you go into a quilt shop, do you look at the batik wall and pull your fabrics? And that's what we're going to do. This time, this challenge is your fabric pull. All right, so do a fabric pull. Have you gotten your project? Maybe that's not how you do it. Maybe you start with a fabric pull and what inspires you, and then you find a project to go with it. My question to you though is, when you do a project or when you see a project like this, Starry Courtyard, Bound to Be Quilting, love this. It's very traditional, and we put in our lookbook to inspire quilt shop owners, we put ink blots in there, which is this. That's quite a bit different, right? I like that. I like to kind of give it a different appeal or a different look. Then this is a very traditional look, where this is more contemporary, right? And we altered the colors too. Are you doing that, or are you looking at it and look at it and say, okay, let me see if I can at least find the colors that go in that particular pattern and maybe alter them a little bit? All right, and I saw a project, cute little honeybee on it. Oh my gosh, I loved it. That somebody posted. Thank you for putting that on the challenge. Anyway, go a little brighter with your colors. And I saw the fabric pull that you had done. You're starting to pull that, and that's wonderful because you are going a little elevated in your color compared to what the pattern had. The pattern had more soft and subtle and less saturated colors, and yours seem to be stronger, which awesome, awesome, awesome. Challenge yourself. If you've got a pattern, like I pulled these, okay? This is by Woolly Lady, and this one here is by Fat Quarter Gypsy, okay? A lattice design. This is a wool design, okay? So I'm looking at this wool design thinking, how could I use batiks in it? All right, so when I'm looking at patterns, these were the patterns that I was looking at last week for that challenge. And then I was thinking, okay, what kind of fabric pull could I do? All right, today I'm standing in front of my essential wall. Okay, we have these little squares of essentials here in the studio. And basically what it is it allows us, when we're putting together a collection, to put the essentials in there. Like I said, with ink blots, right? So we were able to separate the print or the multis of the ink blots with the essentials, or one of the essentials. And then it just makes it easier to see the different prints that are in there. All right, so do that. Take some of your fabric pull that you do and try and put things in and see unexpected color combinations. Like this right here on Decode This is a little bit unexpected, right? But this piece right here is a nice transition piece between the coral and the brown. Okay, is this a nice transition piece? Do you have enough transition pieces, or did you focus all on the transition pieces and not the neutrals that are in between? Try and do that. Play with your fabric for your fabric pull. We also have a couple more here of Decode this. This, we've got the rust, and like I showed you before, and then we went to the very dark navy, right? And here is the green with a little bit of the blue. And this is more of a denim-y blue, all right? But again, I've got a transition piece, and you have to worry about where that transition piece is falling in your project. Because if you put it only in the border, all of the other fabrics in there don't necessarily make sense. And then here we've got a multi, okay? All batiks are not created to do the same thing, right? There's tone-on-tone batiks, there's multi-batiks, there's transition pieces, there's some that are more muted and more of a background kind of thing, okay? I think I have a hair in my mouth that's driving me crazy. Anyway, do your fabric pull, and that's what we're looking for today. Are you going to do a fabric pull to go with a project, or are you going to do just a fabric pull that makes you happy? Go to your local quilt shop and see what they've got as far as the interesting batiks on their wall. Are they a transition piece? Are they a focal? Are they a background? Are they tone on tone? What are they? Okay. Are they the high contrast? So let me see what you've got. I'd be quite interested, and make sure you post it. I am going to do a fabric pull, probably today actually, and I'll post it on my website and the newsletter. If you subscribe to the newsletter, you'll get to see the video of me doing a fabric pull and why I remove something or put something in for that particular project. Okay, I'm Karen Gibbs, and this is For the Love of Batiks.